Hi beautiful people, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to sit down with you guys, get very comfortable vibes. Even though I don't look like I'm comfortable, I promise I am. I have a little bit of my iced coffee left from this morning. It might be a very boring video today, but I wanted to go over everything PCOS, all the information that I know about PCOS, and I wanted to sit down and really get into it with you guys, go over the nitty-gritty, all the symptoms, and everything like that, because this is something that I struggle with day to day. It's something that I will have lifelong, and so many women go undiagnosed. Literally 50% of women that have PCOS have no idea that they have it and they never get diagnosed. So I just wanted to make a video informing you guys what it is. I always have besties in my comment section asking me, please girl, make a video because I think I have this. So I want to go over all the information that I know. Now, I am certainly not a doctor. I am not even in the medical field, but I did do a good amount of research on this once I was diagnosed. So I figured I might as well just share with you guys. And I got two of my love bugs in the back. They are girls, so they could sit in for the girl chat. Okay, so if you guys see me referencing my little notes here, it's because I have all this stuff written down. I have points and all of these things that I make sure that I want to hit and I want to explain. Okay, so the first question that I have on here is, what even is PCOS? So I looked up the true definition of what PCOS is, and what it says is it's a hormonal disorder causing enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edges. Now, you do not have to have cysts on your ovaries for you to be diagnosed with PCOS. I feel like when you ever hear the name PCOS, a lot of people think, oh, you just have cysts on your ovaries. There's so much that goes into it. In fact, you don't even need to have cysts on your ovaries. That is just a part of the name, and I think they're actually looking to changing the name. I doubt that it's going to come anytime soon, but that is definitely one of the symptoms. The main part of PCOS that I've noticed that I have the most symptoms is the fact that it's a hormonal disorder. So obviously everything you think of hormones, you think of your mood swings when you have your periods, you think of how your hormones like affect you. And as a woman, your hormones affect you so much. Literally everything you do day to day, I feel like your hormones affect that. Having a hormonal disorder, you can imagine how difficult it is to regulate emotions and all of that. We'll get into the symptoms in a minute, but that is the true definition of what is PCOS. The next question I wanted to bring up is, why do people get this? Like, is there something you can avoid doing, or is it something that just kind of happens? So there's no really true reason that people know why women get PCOS. It's like an undisclosed reason. It says that it can be passed down from genetics or like in your genes. Also environmental factors can come into play, but they ultimately don't really know why women get this. It's not something that you can avoid, and it's not something that you did if you did get diagnosed with PCOS. Okay, so the next big question that I really want to get into is, what are some of the main symptoms with this? I'll go over in a minute my personal symptoms that I've had with this, but I want to go over like the main symptoms that women can have and reasons why maybe you should go get checked out from your OBGYN or your primary physician. So of course, these are not all of the symptoms that you can have. I did not have the time to write down every single symptom, but these are the main pieces of symptoms and like the generalized version, I guess. Okay, so the number one most common symptom is irregular periods. So I'm talking if you don't have a period for a year, which is me, if you don't have a period for a month and then you have it for another month and then you skip 2 months, anything that's irregular, like as a woman, your period should be every single month, usually at the same exact time. I don't even know what life is like that, but that's what it's supposed to be normal. Every month at the same time or around the same time, anything different is considered an irregular period. And that's the number one symptom, girl. Okay, so the next symptom on here is difficulty getting pregnant or infertility or no ovulation. This is something that I struggle with. Again, this comes into play because you're not having a period. Of course, you're not going to be ovulating on time, or maybe possibly not even at all. And then of course, if you're not having a period, that also makes it extremely hard to get pregnant because girl, when you're on your period, you're ovulating, hence no period equals no baby. Okay, so one of the next symptoms would be excessive hair growth. Now, this can be hair growth on the chin, anywhere really on the face, but most common places that they see this is the chin, the upper lip, the cheeks, sometimes your neck, your chest, your back, and your butt. Those are the most common places. Of course, you could get hairy any other places, but when I say excessive hair growth, I mean really thick, stubborn hair that's hard to remove, or like a lot of it. Another symptom I wanted to touch on is weight gain and moon face, which I also feel like I have moon face because my face is always so puffy and I cannot control it. But the weight gain is from like the insulin levels being all messed up. So it can be really and extremely hard for women who have PCOS to lose weight and also to like maintain their weight. Next symptom is thinning hair, which again, I struggle with this as well. Now, I wasn't born with thin hair. I used to have very thick hair. It was nice and luscious. And of course, I use heat products and all that stuff on my hair as well. But I've noticed over the years, as I've gotten older, my hair has thinned out so much. And like I said, this doesn't necessarily need to be a part of my PCOS, but I know that it is a big factor for other women. Okay, one of the last symptoms that I wanted to touch bases on, like I said, there's many more, but this is just a generalized list, would be oily skin and acne. Again, I used to really struggle so bad in high school with oily skin and having acne prone skin. I always get questions like, girl, what do you do for your skincare? Your skin is so clear, your skin is so nice. And to be honest, I feel like I can't really give any certain product credit to that because in high school, my skin was so bad and difficult that I actually went on Accutane, which is like a very serious hardcore drug that I don't recommend you do unless you do like thorough research. I was young and kind of dumb, so I just went with it, but it did clear up my skin very well, and I haven't had very much acne since then. Yes, I get a few minor breakouts here and there, but that definitely saved my life in terms of like having really bad hormonal acne. Okay, so now that I give you guys a generalized list of like all of the main symptoms, I want to go over my symptoms and what led me into going into my doctor and like figuring out what was wrong. The main symptom that I had and the main symptom that I feel like is generalized would be irregular periods. I would go months with no period, and actually this past year, I did not have a period for 2 years. Yes, girl, I did not have a period for 2 years, and every single time I went into the doctor, my OBGYN would just be like, oh, it's normal, you're small, you're thin, you're petite, you're young, like it's fine, it'll regulate itself when you get older. So that's kind of what I just felt like, okay, I mean, I hate going to the doctor and not getting an answer, but if she was gonna tell me like, everything's fine, she would just kind of brush it on the rug and be like, you're fine. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I kept living life as whatever. And of course, I'm getting older. Now I want to have babies. Like I want to have kids, and I feel like people are always asking me, oh, like, do you want kids? Of course I want kids, but I struggle with getting pregnant, and I have struggled with getting pregnant. Obviously, if I don't have a period, girl, I can't get pregnant. So I decided to go again into my doctor. I said, look, I want to have babies one day. Like, what's going on? Can we do some blood work? And she's like, okay, yeah, we'll do some blood work. I'll go into getting diagnosed and all of that. But the main symptom that I had for me personally was having irregular periods. Now that I have PCOS, I have noticed some other symptoms that I didn't know were really red flags. But at the time, I had really bad depression, really bad anxiety, very bad mood swings. Luckily, I did not have any of the other like super severe issues. Like I said, I did have hormonal acne and stuff growing up, but I was on Accutane, so it kind of fixed that. My main red flag was the periods. So after talking to my doctor, we decided to do some blood work. So in order to get diagnosed with PCOS, they have to check your blood work and all your labs to make sure everything is fine and in the clear. In doing so, they are checking for your androgen levels, cortisol level. They're also going to be checking your testosterone levels. So when I got my blood work done, she came back and said, okay, you definitely have PCOS. And she basically mentioned to me the reason how she knew that is because my testosterone levels were high. My cholesterol was high. Basically, that was like a telltale sign that you had PCOS. After my blood work came back with the high testosterone levels and also the high cholesterol levels, she immediately knew I had PCOS. And then from there, we did a pelvic screening, which is basically an ultrasound of your ovary region. Wanted to make sure, to see, okay, is there cysts on the ovaries that need to be removed? Or do they need to be monitored? And in my pelvic screening, she did see a few cysts, nothing that she was too concerned about that wanted to like operate right away. But I do recommend that you do your pelvic screening every 6 months to a year to keep an eye on them, to make sure they're not growing bigger or anything needs to be removed. Some cases they do need to be removed. As for mine, she said it was nothing that she wanted to operate on at the moment, but she did want to keep an eye on it over the next few months. So I would recommend doing like routine pelvic screenings or ultrasounds in that region just to make sure everything is good in the hood. We don't need any issues. Alrighty, so now that we've gone over the symptoms, how to get diagnosed, the blood work that you can do, and the tests that you could request with your doctor, now the next question is it curable? And unfortunately, PCOS is not something that can be cured. It can definitely be maintained through certain diets and exercise and certain vitamins and medication. But the overall idea is that it is not curable, and it is something that you will be living with lifelong. This is something that I will live with lifelong. All my sisters, if you know, you know. On that same note, I wanted to answer the question, is it life-threatening? And no, PCOS is not directly life-threatening, but you are at higher risk to developing type 2 diabetes. Diabetes can become life-threatening if you're not taking care of it properly. But as far as like indirectly, no, it is not life-threatening. So there's a few treatment options that you can do if you do have PCOS. We will start off with all of the treatment, like medical-wise. If you're into like pharmaceutical stuff and actually taking medications, they do have so many vitamins and actual like medication that you could take to help maintain it. Starting strong, the first thing is birth control. Birth control can help regulate your period and your hormone levels. If you want to look into something to prevent the diabetes, if you're having a hard time with your insulin levels, metformin, you could take metformin. This is a medication that prevents, like I said, diabetes, and they usually recommend this to people that are struggling with their insulin levels or like insulin resistance. If you get high cholesterol as a result of this, which I have high cholesterol from this, you could also take a high cholesterol medication. If you are struggling with your fertility aspect of this, they have certain hormones that you could take in order to like get pregnant. And then I wanted to answer the question of what is metformin, because I feel like this gets brought up so much with PCOS. They usually recommend this to people. For some reason, they recommended this to my twin sister who has PCOS, but they didn't recommend it to me to start taking it. So I'm not currently on any type of medication or any special vitamins. My sister is the total opposite. I feel like I should get her in for a video because she has a list of vitamins that she takes in order to help her. And she's also on metformin, or I think, is she on metformin? I believe she's on metformin. And of course, there's many natural ways with vitamins. If you're not into like taking medications, which I'm the same way, taking 2 Motrin for me is like a huge deal. So I try not to take any vitamins, medication, stuff like that. So I'm not doing the best job at maintaining my PCOS. I definitely need to be more on top of it because I definitely notice it in my face. I have the moon face, like little chunky face going on. And your girl hasn't had a period for like 3 months. So that's great. Okay, so ways to maintain aside from taking like any type of medication, they always say is diet and exercise. Those are like really important factors, which those are 2 things that I don't really focus any time in, which I definitely need to, you guys. I'm not the greatest example, but I am like a living example of it's hard out here, okay? They gave me a list of vitamins that I could take, and vitamins are expensive because they are not freaking cheap. I'm just like, do you think I'm rich? Every month, you think I'm rich? Working out lowers your insulin levels and your androgen levels, and that'll also help you kind of keep in shape. It might not necessarily help you lose weight, because if, again, you have a symptom of weight gain, it could be really difficult to lose weight. So I definitely sympathize with you. But even doing something light like walking on the treadmill or going for a little jog after you eat dinner, anything like that to keep your body moving and active is so important. And again, I'm being a hypocrite because I don't do any of this, but I'm almost talking to myself in the sense where like, girl, you need to get your shit together and start doing little minimal workouts. It doesn't have to be a whole 3-hour gym lesson, you know what I mean? But anything to get your body active and moving is very good for your hormonal levels. Next thing they say is to limit carbs and processed foods. Now, I am an Italian woman, you guys. I love my carbs. I literally could eat pasta and bread for dinner and just call it a day. But those are like the worst things that you can do if you have PCOS. So I'm not dead, girl, but I definitely need to improve on my diet because these are really important factors, again, for maintaining those hormonal balances. So we have limiting your carbs and processed foods. Also limiting your sugar intake. So you're not really supposed to be having caffeine and sugary drinks and sugary desserts. They try to say to do like sugar-free stuff. And again, this is so hard because I love desserts and sweet stuff and everything. I have the biggest sweet tooth. But if I want my body to be healthy and to work properly, then I need to stay away from sugar, carbs, processed foods, really greasy fried foods. Now, some of the foods that they say that they recommend, which if I can figure out how to put a picture on the screen, I will put the little pyramid that they suggest. But if I cannot, then I'll just go over with you right now. Eating lots of whole grains, lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, fruits, of course, green vegetables, Everything I hate. No, it's seriously, I hate vegetables. I like fruit in moderation. Like, I'm not gonna eat a bowl of fruit every single day, but these are things that they recommend, okay? So I'm just going it over with you guys. Also, something to help maintain your PCOS is managing your stress, because PCOS can come with high cortisol, which is like the adrenaline factor. Like, our body's always in fight or flight mode. So it's good to try to manage your stress and be at peace. Again, a big symptom of this is severe anxiety and severe depression. You are not alone, girl. I'm going through the same thing every single day. It's so hard. And of course, all this with the weight gain and all this comes with like body image issues. Like, I look in the mirror and I'm just like, ugh. I feel defeated every time I look at myself in the mirror. And you guys might not agree with me, but the way I see myself is of course different than the way you see yourself. Just like you guys are all so beautiful when I look at you, but I'm sure when you look in the mirror, you have little insecurities, and you should not, because people don't see you that way, and your weight does not define your beauty. Also, another way to maintain or manage your PCOS is to get plenty of rest. And I know this seems so far-fetched. Like, okay, girl, you're basically just saying eat good, sleep good, don't be stressed, work out. Like, that's the simplest things. But when you have PCOS, these are the hardest things to do, because also all this comes with like no motivation. I don't have any motivation to work out. I don't have any motivation to go on a little walk after dinner. But these are things that we need to change. That's why I'm talking to you guys, because I'm also talking to myself. Like, I need to go on a little walk. Even though it's so hard, I need to get my little ass out there and go for a little walk after dinner or whatever. Maybe at least once a week, instead of having a fried chicken sandwich, I could swap that out and do a little salmon with broccoli and maybe some brown rice. Is brown rice grains? I just can't. You guys know how I like to cook. You guys know how I like to bake. This is very hard for me. Okay, so last thing I wanted to say is 20 to 30% of women have PCOS, and 50% of women who do have this go completely undiagnosed. A lot of this can be misdiagnosed or diagnosed as literally nothing. So if you feel like you have some of these symptoms, don't freak out. It's nothing crazy, but definitely go see your physician and just bring it up. Like, hey, I think I might have this. Could we check and do blood work for this? And if you do get diagnosed, it is not the end of the world, okay? We are sisters. Get it? Sisters. And I'm on this journey with you. We're not all perfect. I can't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm gonna change my total lifestyle. But it is something that I do need to work on every single day. And I do need to start making these decisions for my body, and so I could have babies one day. It's definitely a struggle. Like, when every time I talk, everyone's like, oh, like, are you gonna have kids? And I'm like, I hope one day, I hope I can. But that question always hurts my feelings. Not because today we're saying anything insensitive. It's just, to me, it hits home, because I'm like, well, I'm a woman and my body doesn't work how it should. And I have to take all these other precautionaries and do all these other things just to be like a normal woman. So it sucks, but you're not alone if you do have PCOS. I'm right along there with you. I go through the same struggles as you every day. Lack of motivation, anxiety, depression, I've got it all. But I do plan on doing another video maybe for you guys in a few months with an update if I'm taking care of things differently, if I start implementing these things that I'm talking to you guys about. Hopefully I can get my little act together, and I hope you guys can too. Always make sure to always talk to your doctor. Don't listen to me. Don't diagnose yourself. This is something that has to be diagnosed from a doctor. And I don't know everything, so if I got anything wrong or you guys want to know a little bit more things, let me know and I will do some more research, girl, and we'll make a part 2 about everything. But I know this video is a little bit different than my normal videos. I'll be back with normal content for you guys. I just finally wanted to sit down, have a little girls chat about PCOS, because I'm always getting questions about it, and I just wanted to bring some light to it. So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to give this video a big like, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.